Hi guys, so I figured I would try a new camera angle, see if I can actually speak well enough to be heard, and see if you can actually see what I'm seeing. Anyway, this is one of my morning commutes. I'm just getting onto the freeway right now, and there's a police officer and a Volt in front of me, so obviously I'm paying more attention to the Volt. Yeah, this is a nice drive-in. Kind of reminds me of a Alexa de Tocqueville novel. But I also figured, because you guys say you prefer that I speak about the car, its handling, things like that while I'm driving. So I can do that, and just in general, something that's on my mind is I still feel like the EV community, the electric vehicle community, has been a little divided in terms of, I think GM is still seen as the enemy by a lot of people, and while I like what she does, and I follow the channel, the Transportation Evolved with Nikki. I didn't necessarily like her review of the Bolt. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand you can be critical of the car, but be critical of the car on its merits, right? So make sure that if you're making an assessment of the vehicle, that it's a fact-based assessment. Make sure you're not misconstruing the facts, right? So, and some of it's veiled, some of it's not necessarily clear what she was referencing, because one of the things was talking about how the weight distribution isn't as good as some. Well, I mean, clearly it's not going to be as good as a high-performance sports car, but the weight distribution, and this is something that came out of Motor Trend, and this is of the car magazines, Motor Trend has always been one that I've trusted more than the others, especially in terms of their assessment of performance. But they do a very good understanding. They have a very good understanding of performance metrics. And one of the things that they measured on the Bolt EV was the front rear weight distribution. And according to Motor Trend, the Bolt has best in class front rear weight distribution for 5446. So it's basically, of the small front wheel drive vehicles, which are inherently going to be heavier in the front, it has the best weight distribution. It also means that if GM ever decides that they want to release an all-wheel drive Bolt EV, it will have close to a 50-50 weight distribution, which for an all-wheel drive vehicle is also something that's very notable. So little things like that. She's alluding to some other cars or other competitors. I'll be honest, I haven't checked off the top of my head the different Tesla weight distributions, but I'm pretty sure they're close to 50-50. Probably the i3 even. But again, you're comparing a front-wheel drive platform to a rear-wheel drive platform, and I'll be perfectly honest, based on my experiences with the i3 and my experiences with the Bolt EV, I don't think that the i3 can outhandle the Bolt EV. I think on an autocross course, I think on a track, I think the Bolt EV would be, very far ahead of the i3. So little things like that, little nitpicking. Now, but some of it's perfectly justified, and some of it is a matter of just personal opinion. The seats, right? A lot of people don't like the seats, or I shouldn't even say a lot. Some people don't like the seats. That's personal preference. But other things she mentioned, she was talking about the steering. I'll say this: the steering on the car, I don't think it bites as much as, say, the Volt did, right? It's different, but it's predictable. And to me, if I'm going to be driving a car in really any circumstances, I don't care about anything else other than I would prefer it to be predictable. Obviously, you don't want to be sailing a boat around the corner, but I think, you know, the steering for this car is fine. I think it's just where it needs to be. Something that you might find disconcerting, though, is when this car is off, you cannot turn the wheel. I mean, maybe you can, but I'm not going to put that much torque into it and risk breaking something. Yeah, it just goes dead. The same, I think some people mention the same thing about the brake pedal. When the car is not on, the brake pedal feels like you're just stepping on a solid brick. So those might be a little disconcerting. I haven't really. It hasn't really affected my experience at all. I know some of the reasons for it, and some of the main reasons for it is electric vehicles don't work the same way, or pure electric vehicles don't work the same way as internal combustion engine vehicles that will have, you know, power steering boxes and brake fluid. You know, they'll have vacuums running the brakes and things like that. So with an electric car, it is going to be more of the all or nothing experience. When the car is off, it's just off. There's nothing you can do about it, right? But when the car is on, everything functions, and really that should be your only concern. Something else is the suspension, and this is going to be really, really weird, but it is soft, and soft is usually synonymous with poor performance. But with the battery where it is, with the center of gravity where it is, it doesn't act in the same way. So again, Nikki was talking about body roll. Well, I haven't experienced that. You know, a corner of the car dipping is not body roll. Body roll is more of the torque and the torsion of the body when you're taking a corner too hard. And that's not present anywhere on the Bolt EV. The body and chassis is actually very, very rigid. And this isn't exclusive to the Bolt EV. Pretty much any electric vehicle is going to be that way because of the battery. I mean, some cars don't benefit as much, say like the Volt, right? Because of the way the battery ran, it still added structural stability, but not the way that a flat, you know, as they call like the skateboard style battery would. So I really don't understand what they're saying about body roll.